Anyone recognize this girl? So after Lien received her bachelor's degree in biology, she continued her education in psychology, DNA, and neuroscience while pursuing her master's in math. Early in 2016, in order to fulfill her desire to better understand and appreciate the connection between our subconscious mind and the power it plays in the role of our day-to-day lives, she pursued and received her certification in muscle testing, which she now uses to help her clients uncover the hidden stories they hold on to within their subconscious. She continues her studies as she works full-time with clients both in Arizona and California, bringing to bear her passion to discover the mysteries of the unseen universe around us. Her mission is to help others recognize the power and riddles of their subconscious mind. So a perfect follow-up to where we were. So please give her a big hand.
Thank you, Brett.
There you go. Just quick break.
Thank you for this opportunity. I love this. Going back to Brett, idea. My vision and my dream when I was 6 years old, I pointed the TV and told my mom, Mom, that's going to be me, the next Bill Nye the Science Guy. I worked my butt off. Tears. A lot of people around you would put here. Tears for me to get my degree. When I was sitting in a conference room filled with managers, VP, presenting my data on DNA and on antibodies, a little voice asked me, what exactly are you doing? Why are you here? What's the purpose of you being here? And I said, I work my butt off for that degree. I work my butt off to be in this seat. And then the voice asked again, are you really sure? I didn't realize that when I hung up my lab coat and my pipette and moved out of San Diego, I would be here, standing in front of you guys, talking about that. And with Brett's certification, when I was like, yes to Brett, and I asked myself after that, and I'm like, crap, who am I to talk about the subconscious? I don't have a PhD in it. My friends do, not me. They should have been stood up here and talking. But the question is, who really certified us? Who? Like Brett said, who certified the people who are certified? I know California State University, the one who certified my bachelor's, the one who said saying that yes, I learned neuroscience, I learned psychology, I learned DNA, and I learned math. I can prove that. But in actuality, is who really taught me? Who? So we're going to that. So this is your personal formula of the brain. Speaking of the brain, anybody know the brain of the cells? What exactly is a cell? Anybody know? Yes.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think back to like 8th grade or whatever. Nucleus. He's right. He's right.
The nucleus.
The membrane.
The membrane. Anybody else? So we have the nucleus, which is very traditional, conventional thinking. And then we have the membrane, which is something new. So who's right? Who's wrong? So this is the cell. Inside that cell, now the purple dot is the nucleus. That's where our DNA lives. That is the genetic code that Watson and Crick had discovered in the early 1900s. That is the code to who we are being here today. There's only 4 codes. A, G, T, anybody know the last one? T, USA, T, and C. Those are only 4 codes that mix together into a quilt, which we call genes, which make up each one of us. So the idea is that the brain? Well, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he did a research. The experiment was to take out the nucleus, take out the DNA. Now, let me ask you, if I take out your brain, what happens to your body? It will die, right? It will be dead. So what would happen if you take out the nucleus of the cell?
You think it would die, but it actually lives.
Why do you think that?
Because I did a little research first, like,
So you cheated. I'm just joking.
That's not
That's
cheating.
very true. That's very true. He's very resourceful. Good job. That's very true. So what he did, he took out the nucleus. And the cell continued to do what it's manufactured to do, to function, to live. So the question now becomes, where is the brain of the cells? Do you guys see the little blue thingy that's sticking up? And you guys see the little red thing, I call them candies? Those are actually where the brain of the cells lie. Those are receptors within the membrane. Those are the connection between us and the environment. How we interact in the environment will tell our cell how to behave. And how our cells behave go into our DNA, where it's a filing cabinet for our proteins, which is all this beautiful blue color. You have the ribosome, you have the polymerase, and then you have the Golgi complex, which look like little fruits to me. So all of those are triggered by the receptors of the cells. So the question is, how you interact with your environment determine who you are inside and how you trigger your DNA. So now we go back to conventional psychology, nature versus nurture. Are we nature? Are we nurture? Which one are we? We just discussed that a minute ago, right? Who knows this guy? Who is he?
Well, for a lot of people, he's considered to be the father of psychology.
Yeah, he was. And do you know what he was famous for?
Subconscious dreams and analysis, observing human behavior.
Yeah, psychoanalysis. That's the very exact it. We have three parts of the mind. His theory and his science from observation, millions of people. Maybe I'm exaggerating the number. There are three parts of the mind. And I'm going to show you this model. Some of you guys will be very familiar with this model, the iceberg model, right? How did the Titanic sink? Yes.
Iceberg, because you can't see everything under the water.
Exactly. You can't see everything under the water. And that is how our mind is. The 10% on the top, that's our conscious awareness. That's who we are. That's why we're here. We're using our conscious mind to be here. The bottom 90% is our subconscious. Wow. We only use 10% of our mind. So what happened to the other 90%? Did it go to sleep? Does it disappear? Is it magically just doing its own thing? But during the subconscious level, that's where we store our memory, we store our feelings, we store our connections. But who really rules us then? Conscious mind or the subconscious mind?
Subconscious.
This is from Dr. Huno. This is another model that I love to use. In the concept of the mind, we have the broad of the consciousness. Inside the consciousness, we have the subconscious, and then inside it, we have the unconsciousness. Is it okay with you guys from now on? I just want to refer to subconscious and the unconscious as the subconscious.
Yeah.
Just to make things simple,
Yep.
like Brad has said that way. What exactly is a conscious mind? A conscious mind is a filter. It's like a computer screen. You press an A on your keyboard, what's appear on your screen? An A. You type in the word love, what's appear on your screen? Love. Right? That is a conscious mind. The world hits us as 2 million bytes. our mind only process 126 bytes, which means we only process 1/16 of what environment is giving us. So that's a lot of filtering out. How do we filter out? Just like a screen. Android screen versus Apple screen, high resolution screen versus old screen, right? So it's depending what screen you have, you're gonna see the picture differently. And that's why there's always a disclaimer for design art. I say depending on your screen, the color will change. That's unconscious mind. It is a screen. It is the filter between us and our environment. So what is the subconscious and unconscious? That is a filing cabinet. We collect that 126 bits from 2 million bits and we store them in our mind, in the axons of our neurons. So we have this little starburst inside our brain. It's just full electrical cells. Only 10% bad. So it's like file cabinets. We file there, and according to how it is, we file it differently. To filter out 1/16 of information, our mind needs to compute and make decisions fast, especially when you're in flight or flight mode. When your life is dependent on it, your brain needs to make decisions fast. So how does your brain make decisions fast? It stores things in compartments. It stores things in departments. You have different filing cabinets for different ideas, for different emotions, for different thoughts. So it gathered these thoughts in and saying, well, this looks similar to this, I'm going to put it in there. It does not matter. One thing about your mind, whatever you put inside your mind, it will stay there permanently, just like the internet. You think you got rid of it? Check again. Where's my phone? How many times you guys turn off an app and next thing you guys know it turns on the background? That's how our minds work. Once you put things in there, it will store there. It will run in the background even if you don't know it consciously. Daniel Dunback and Mark of Sheffield of Northwest University, they prove that our memory are actually on this dendrite, which is the arms or the branches of the neurons. Old conventional idea is that the axon, which is that long and the body of the cell, that's where the memory is stored. They found out that with patients who have amnesia, the axon can be damaged, so the cells cannot turn on, but yet the dendrites are activated. When the dendrites are activated, memory return. Even if they can't remember where that memory comes from, it still return. How many of you guys have met someone you have no idea where you met them? You either feel you hate them, or you love them, or you just want to punch the gut out. Your axon doesn't need to turn on, notice yourself, but your dendrite turns on. Those memory turn back on quickly, and you make decision of that person quickly. You don't remember why, or you met a new person and you don't know why, you just hate that person right there on that spot because your axons are turned on. These are where your memories are. So now we are forming emotional connection, psychological connection, and relational connection to data points that we have collected from the 2 million bits of data that environment are coming at us. How many of you guys have dated? Still are? Here's an example.
That was an advertisement, by the way.
Here's an example. This is a very common example. Someone dating, they broke up, was a bad relationship. They thought they move on. They date the next person. That relationship went sour. They moved on. The next thing they come out their mouth, oh, I know men were bad. I know relationship is bad. This would never work out. It didn't work out for me before. Why should it work out for me now? So when we form connection out with memory data point that has nothing to do with each other. The past relationship was in the past, the present relationship was in the present. They have nothing to do with each other, and yet our brain connected and saying, this is the reason why relationship never worked out. It happened before. It wouldn't happen again. Yes, ma'am.
The first question I asked Dario when we met 22 years ago was, what sign are you? There was a sign, an astrological sign, because of 2 bad relationships that I would not date. Yes, he's on that sign.
Okay.
So perfect, yeah.
Yeah. So we form an emotional connection, psychological connection, and relational connection through about 120 bits, so that way we can store them inside our subconscious. They're always connected. So the question is, are we living in the past, or are we actually living in the present?
Yes.
Both. Why do you say both?
Because everything we've experienced is stored in the subconscious, that we're trying to do it differently. So we're constantly maneuvering through doing things either differently, trying things again that didn't work out in the past, hoping for better results, or or staying away from them and
Yeah.
fear of what happened.
We're also filtering our entire present experience through our past experiences.
Exactly. Anybody has another idea? Yes.
Well, as soon as it's the present, it's the past. So you are living in the past.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All you guys are right. We are living in the present through the filter of our past. So, overall, we're actually living in our past. We're stuck in our past. We're really stuck there. Because what really happens, we make stories around it. We interpret it, our perceptions of it. And then we feed it with energy, which is our emotion. And emotion ties are the highest form of connection. We all know that. And then we have reaction to our emotions. So in our everyday life, we react to our emotion. That's why commercial works. We buy on emotion. We buy into our action. Whether we want to go out with that person, it's our emotion. When we want to buy a product, we buy into that emotion. We are reacting to our emotion by our interpretation, by our meaning, and by the stories that we have fed to our subconscious. It has nothing to do with what the heck happened. Nothing. It's all over here on the subconscious side. So it's just like bread. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create. What if I told you life and God give you 100% of what you want? 100% because of this.
Absolutely.
Sorry. So the question is what you want. Do you want it at a conscious level, or do you want it at a subconscious level? If your life is derailed, then ask yourself, what is you want at the subconscious level that is derailing your life at a conscious level? This is another study by Dr. George Kaleskis and his associate at University in Greece. They found out that our connections, when we link memories together, is called the cluster of dendrites. So we have all that beautiful arms back in the previous slides. So how they connect to each other is all the cluster of each other. So if something hit us and is similar to something inside our brain that have a whole bunch of connection of fear around it, what's going to trigger? Fear. It's going to trigger fear. If something hit our neurons and surrounding dendrite is full of love, what's going to happen? Love, right? Love. So how we react to our environment is based on the cluster of our dendrites, by what we've been taught, how we experience, by what we believed, are all formed into those clusters. Now, would you guys buy into it if I say, Mom, you guys are the first person who teach your child how to love and fear? You know what a stage? What? What stage of uterus?
Well, I don't know which trimester, I just know it starts from development.
Whatever I say, start as soon as conception. You guys buy that? Because, why would I say conception?
Feelings. I guess feelings.
Feelings. Because that's when the cells are being formed. One cell split into two, two cells split into four, four cells split into eight cells. It keeps dividing. And the moment it starts dividing, you are training how that cell's interacting with an environment. How the cell interact with the environment triggers its DNA. Back to the first slide with Dr. Bruce Lipton. So, Mom, congratulations. So the question is, how do we change our subconscious? How do we live from fear to love? Or how do we live from failure to success? Or how do we live from our lower self to our higher self? And the question is, Dr. Koleski has proven, change your dendrites. Change the cluster of your dendrites. How? The moment you have an idea of something, stop it. Connect it, associate with something new. And that's why psychology, they go in and say, can you let go of your fear of associated with one idea, so that way you can reform your dendrite, so you can reform your cluster. So that way the cluster is no longer a cluster of fear or a cluster of hope, or a cluster of hate, but now a cluster of hope or a cluster of love. That's how you remap your mind. That's how you remap your conscious. It's by remapping how your dendrites already exist inside your mind. By connecting the old dendrite, reform a new dendrite association with something new, or delete the dendrite, so that way it can make a new branch somewhere else with a new idea. Yes?
I was just wondering, so in this remapping,
Mm-hmm.
how significant is it to be consciously applying the person when remapping, experience?
Good question. Let me to ask you. You starting a new business? What are you doing in life?
Work construction and then work friendship and then forward that's different.
Okay, so what is your dream?
That's good. My ultimate goal, I would put it this way, my target is to be in charge of this new business,
Uh-huh.
be the lead on marketing.
Okay, close your eye for me. Close your eyes for me.
Okay.
Okay, now bring those thoughts forward from your conscious level to from your subconscious level to your conscious level. What are the thoughts, feeling associated to those thoughts right now?
A little bit indecision, but excitement.
Okay, what else? What's underneath that?
It doesn't feel as real as it probably could.
Okay, what's underneath that?
What's that?
What's underneath that feeling?
I'm not sure what I'm feeling.
Okay, so indecisiveness, right? We can play with that. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I don't care how you answer it. Okay? Taking one deep breath in for me. Indecisiveness actually is a fear from not having control. It's the fear of not having security. And what's your name?
Justin.
Justin. Keep your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Justin, can you allow yourself to let go of wanting control?
Yes.
Would you allow yourself of letting go of wanting control?
Can you say that one more time?
Would you allow yourself of letting go of wanting control?
I'd like to, since it can be very helpful.
When?
When?
Uh-huh.
Making it at the right time.
Okay. Could you allow yourself of letting go of control?
Yeah, I do.
Would you allow yourself of letting go of wanting control?
By a certain.
I don't care.
time.
Answer yes or no.
Yeah, I think I would do it.
When?
I'm looking at
Okay. Could you allow yourself of letting go of wanting control?
But I,
Would you allow yourself of letting go of wanting control?
yeah, I think so.
When?
Yeah.
Could you allow yourself to accept and welcome your business?
Yes.
Would you allow yourself to accept it exactly as it is?
I would.
Would you allow yourself to accept it as it would be?
As I would like it to be.
No, as it would be.
Whatever it may be.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now bring forth that company again. Bring
Okay.
forth. What are your thoughts, your feeling towards it?
I think it's a great opportunity.
Brilliant.
So tell me, how important is to you now? Remapping, how's important to you now?
I think it's very important.
Now you know why? So how is it important to you now?
I think, well, it really goes back to one saying, well, we have on ourselves.
There you go.
Thank you.
So that's what remapping is. Yes.
Can you repeat the last three questions? So once he had yes, 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 what were the last three questions?
Oh gosh, I kind of make up as I go along.
Oh,
So would you accept it as it is?
Letting
Okay. Yeah. Something. I'll talk to you afterward. I just go along as I make. I just feel people's energy, and then when I see it, I know. I just kind of form a question in my head, and it just kind of roll off my tongue. So
The main point is it was getting him out of the fear of indecision of the outcome.
yes,
Right.
yes. So what we did was remapping it. We took the dendrites from his cluster and moved it to somewhere else. So that way, the fear of his business is no longer a dendrites of indecisiveness, but now it's the dendrite of possibility. So we kind of just move things. It's kind of like remapping. How many times have you seen Google remap is map because they realize, oh, I just took you to the desert. In the middle of nowhere, the road does not exist. Same thing here. We're doing that. I remember I went to Vegas with my best friend once. I hope she's listening to this. She can tell you. Pull up the GPS. Next thing we knew, we ended up in an abandoned parking lot. You should go, I don't think this is Excalibur. I'm like, I don't think this is either. So, rule your mind, or it will rule you. Live your subconsciously conscious, or live your conscious subconsciously. It's your choice. And thank you, Brad, and thank you all.
Well done. So I think one of the points here is we did not collaborate on the slides. I think everything she said supports what I've been saying. She just says it better and she's prettier. So the science will support what we're living out through the observation of cause and effect. Okay? And the process that we've discussed so far, we're doing good. We'll take a break here in a minute. The process that we've discussed so far is being aware of your other self. Step one. What's step two? Clarity of dream. Step three.
Definite purpose.
Definite purpose. Okay. Oh, we're early. Okay, this is really good. All right, I want to hit a couple other points. We'll take a quick break, and then we've got. Is my watch red?
Yep.
It's got to be because I bought it here at Glean Fine Jewelers. Wow. Okay, she talked about the cells, how they interact determines what they are. David, do you remember what I told you the other day about relationship? I texted it to you.
It's hard. Sitting on the spot right now, when else has to do so.
Yeah. That's why I put you on the spot. No, I'm just kidding. I know she's bringing lunch. Okay, so we were talking about relationship. When I say relationship, go ahead, tell me what you think. Okay.
Communication.
What is relationship? Communication?
Partnership.
Partnership, connection.
Power team.
Power team. Ooh, we have discussion coming here on power team here in a minute. Okay, I define relationship as the sharing of time, space, and energy. So it's in relation to the sharing of time, space, and energy. And how even two particles interact determines what they are. And so it is with people. So how we interact determines what we are. Just like the cells. The map is really, really simple and really clear. You have interaction. We're working on the 4 interactions. And then you have interaction. These determine your outcomes. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're sitting here in any way going, I know this crap, we're going to test you right now.
You did, too. You did. That was great.
Yeah, we're going to test it right now. Because what you're going to do is in your groups, you're going to discuss, number 1, what percentage do you think you're listening to your higher self and in tune with that? Number 2, clarity of your dream. Because if you're asked, right, if you're asked, what is your dream? I have a feeling if you add more time and you're more conscious about it, you'll come up with more. Okay? But if you're asked, like I can tell you clearly, and the people close to me know it, very close to me know it. Okay? And I found my definite purpose through that. Now you're going to be put to the test because it doesn't do any good to sit here and go, I know this. You know it. Consciously maybe at the moment, but subconsciously you go a different way. Here's how you test it. Right now in your groups, very clear on your dream and your definite purpose. You should be able to share. Each of you take 60 seconds and share one at a time your dream and your definite purpose. Okay, go ahead and do it.